which is Chof Beis Omid Beis. Yes, the beginning of the Mishnah, we talk about Masi'in Masu'os. Remember, they lit these bonfires, but an interesting word, Masu'os. I'm doing now Chof Beis Omid Beis. Peter, if we put people on mute, in case there's any feedback from that. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on things, and I might go, or if I come off video, it's because it looks a bit wobbly. Okay, so remember they had the bonfires, and the whole idea there was to tell everybody when Rosh Chodesh was. We haven't gone into exactly when yet, but we'll see about that hopefully later on. But before we go any further, says the Gemara, right at the beginning of the Gemara, my mashma de masiin lishno di'kod. Or di'kod means a fire. Where do we ever get? Is there anywhere wording meaning fire? And the Gemara does, and he finds a wording. Obviously, we use wording that we find in Tanakh. And here we have it, dichsiv. And you will find this in Shmuel. Vayaz, the Pasuk says, Vayaz Shom Esatzabem, talking about leaving the idols. I mean, we're just looking for the word, so it's really a linguistic point. And we find there it says, Vayisoim David, Vayisoim David Ba'anoshov. And David, King David, and his men burnt Vayisoim David Ba'anoshov. And if you look at the Targum there, you find Kdinon David actually burnt them. So we find this wording that's used in our Gemara and our Mishnah, Masi'in Masu'os. It's also normally talk about losses is normally to lift things up. Yisor, talking about the kind of lifting up their hands. But here it doesn't mean that. It actually means burning them. And that's really what this means. Masi'in Masoy, it's not clear exactly what it was referring to, but yes, I know I translated it at the time, but that's really knowing what was coming in the Gemara. So this word, they lit bonfires, not a word used that often, but that's what this word means, linking up to this psukim that we find. So the idea of they have the bonfires, and that will clarify exactly when was Rosh Chodesh. So again, the witnesses would come to the Bezdin. The Bezdin was ensured that, yes, it was correct. They did actually see the moon rather than any other figure in the sky. And then what they would do the night after announcing the day was Rosh Chodesh, the following night, they would, well, that night, not the following, that night, they would light bonfires and tell everybody that was Rosh Chodesh. Now, says the Gemara, 4 lines up from the end of Chof Beis Omid Beis. You got that? Tana Rabbanon. I think I might have mentioned this last week, but you'd think that you'd light the bonfire whenever there's been this announcement, Mekudesh, that day is Rosh Chodesh, then there will be a bonfire the following night, well, not the following night, the following night, that very night, and everybody would then know when was Rosh Chodesh. Says the Brisa, 4 lines up, Chof Beis Omid Beis, Tanu Rabbanon. Rabbanon learned that what? Ein masi'in masu'os elo al ha-chodesh shenire bizmano lekadshay. What does that mean? They only lit these bonfires, and we'll have to understand why, on a month where the moon was seen bizmano lekadshay. What does that mean? When it's seen, Rashi says lekadshay means to sanctify it. What this really means, lahudion sheniskadesh, to make known that the moon was sanctified, it is Rosh Chodesh. And notice it says, the Amosai Masin, when do they make these bonfires? Yeah, when did they make these bonfires? La'or iburoi. Have a look at the last line, the last narrow line of the Gemara. La'or iburoi. Le'erev Yom Shaloshim, the night of the day of the 30th, Nag Hei Lamed Aleph means the night going into the 31st. So what continues Rashi? Yom Shaloshim, the 30th day of the month, Koroi is called Yom Iburai, the day, the extra day. Why is the 30th always called the extra day? Because Omrina Le'el, we've learned this before. Al Shnei Adorim, we spoke about 2 Adars, and of course exactly what we've got this year. Shemakachim Osam Biyom Ibureim. You can be Makadosh, that's the Gemara, your test, we don't need that now. But on the day, the day of their extra day, if you like. What does that mean? The extra day, or Iburo, the word Iburo means the day which is extra. Why is it called the day which is extra? Al Shem, next line, Shemimenu Ma'abrim es HaChodesh. If it will actually be a longer month, remember, the months are either 29 or 30 days. In fact, as we know, it takes 29 and a half days for the moon to circle the earth. So Rosh Chodesh will either be 29, 30, etc. Okay. That 30th day is called Yom Iburoi. So I'm reading now the 2 lines from the end. I'll change Shemimenu in Rashi. Ma'abrim es hachodesh hayotzei koro yom ibor. What do you mean ibor? I'm talking about a lady who is mu'uberes, bearing a child. The extra, lehisaber, that's really what this means. The month would be 29, but sometimes you'd end up with an ibor chodesh. Mervin's put his hand up. Hold on a minute. We've got an extra day. That extra day is called the ibor of the month. Now, hold on a minute. Says the Gemara, therefore, when do you light the bonfires? La'or iburai, on the night going into the extra day. Right? So it's the night going into the 30th is when they lit the bonfires, only on that night. Okay? Carry on the Gemara, and then I see your hand up. Lememra, that means to say, I'm now in the Gemara 3 lines up. Da'achose of dinon amole lo of dinon. What does that mean? The Leil Iburoi is the night going into day 30, right? That's the time you light the bonfires if they're going to be lit. So, how does this work? Someone saw the moon, right? It's a 29, after 29 days, the moon is then seen that night. Day 30, day 30, the moon is seen. That means the night going into day 30, the moon is seen. Right? On day 30, that's what we're talking about here. Le'or iburo, the night of that extra day, that's day 30. Day 30, they've made day 1. When are they going to therefore light the bonfires? They will light the bonfires the night immediately after that. Okay? I hope I haven't confused too many people here. So,
it's good, it's good.
Again, let me just clarify this. And we've got the 29 days. Day 30 is the extra day. If they saw the moon on the night of the 30th, then they will make that day Rosh Chodesh. Go back to the last line, the last narrow line of Rashi. La'or ibura le'erev yom shloishim nog hey lamed aleph is when they would send have the bonfires. Let me give you an example. Sunday is day 29. Okay? Day 29 is on a Sunday. Sunday night is day 30. Right? The moon was seen on Sunday night. That means the month is only going to have 29 days. We are now in the extra day. We're in day 30, and it's now been converted from being day 30 of the previous month to being day 1 of the new month. When will you light the bonfires? The night going from day 30, potentially day 30, into a day 31. Of course, it can't be a day 31, but just to get the numbers right. So again, 29 was Sunday. Sunday night, the moon was seen. Monday, they come to Bezdin. Monday, instead of being day 30, now becomes day 1 of the Rosh Chodesh, with the Chodesh. The following night, that's going from day 30, that could have potentially been day 30. The following night, that means Monday night, the bonfires are lit. That is the only time bonfires are lit. Bonfires are lit when it's a shorter month, 29. The people come on day 30. The night after that, in my example, that would be Sunday night, they saw the moon. Monday, they come to Bezdin. Monday night, we have the bonfires. Okay? If, however, in my example of Sunday, remember, Sunday we said Sunday was day 30. They saw the moon. Let's again make sure this is all right. Again, we're 29. We're up to 29. The moon is seen on Sunday night. That means it's day 30, but it's no longer day 30 because on Monday they will announce that Sunday night Monday is day 1. Then Monday night they will light the bonfires. If, however, nobody saw the moon on Sunday night, that means Monday is day 30. When they make Rosh Chodesh the following day, on Monday, they will not light bonfires on, that means the following night after that. So again, if Monday is day 30, that means Monday night going into Tuesday will be day 1. Bonfires will not be lit that month. They only light bonfires after a shorter month. That means a 29-day month. Then the moon was seen in my example. Day 29 was Sunday. Sunday night, the moon was seen. Monday, they come to Bezdin. Monday night, they will light bonfires. You only light bonfires if the previous month was 29 days, not 30 days. You don't, in other words, you might have thought you'd always light bonfires the night after the announcement that that day is Rosh Chodesh. Not true. You only have bonfires the night after the announcement of Rosh Chodesh if the previous month was 29 days. Is that okay? We've got Mervin's hand up. He's had it up for a long while.
No, it's a more general question. When you said the reason why it's sometimes 29, sometimes 30 is because the lunar cycle is 29 and a half, roughly.
Yes.
So therefore some months it's 29 days, some days it's 30, I understand. But why are some Rosh Chodesh 2 days nowadays. Like, for instance, this week it's 2 days, isn't it? Why?
That's right. The first day,
Yeah.
Imagine this exact example. Here we are. We're into Wednesday night. Now, tonight or tomorrow could be Rosh Chodesh, might not be Rosh Chodesh. If it will be a 29-day month, tonight will be day 1.
Yeah.
If it's a 30-day Chodesh, then today is 30. You wouldn't know at this stage. You wouldn't know.
Well, so Wednesday is day 29. You're saying day is 29. Okay, fine. Is that what you're saying?
No. Today was 29.
No, yeah.
Tomorrow is day 30.
Right.
But you wouldn't have known if you. Now, of course, we do have the calendar, so we do know. But without the calendar, if you're waiting for people to come to Beis Din, tomorrow, you'd have to wait. Maybe today is going to be Rosh Chodesh. And if it's,
but we know that we alternate, don't we? But we know that we do 29 to 30 just to keep things in sync, don't we?
You'll have to eventually make sure everything tallies. But you could have, and we do have, sometimes 2 29s and sometimes 2 30s. So you can't be sure what exactly is going to happen until it's announced. So after 29 days, the 30th day you'd hold Rosh Chodesh because it may be day 1. We don't know what Beis Din is going to do. And then
we don't know because it's dependent on Re'iyah.
Correct.
And that's all right. Okay. But if it was just dependent on the calculation, you would say 1 month is 29, the other would be 30.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I see what you mean.
You'd only have to have 1 day of Chodesh, and it would always be the first day of the month. Absolutely.
I'm with you. Okay. Just one small point. What's the sloshing of Nagi? Nagi, I've never seen it before in the Rashi.
Oh, yeah, we had that beginning of stocking, the light, normally the light going into, or the night light.
Okay, all right.
From the word
Noga.
Noga. Yeah. Remember Noga? Actually, it's also used for the which planet? Any guesses? Venus. Noga.
Do you say Noga sometimes? Noga, Noga.
Noga normally means it means a light. Often it's used actually as we say it's really Loshen Saginor, as they say, because it really means the night.
Yeah.
So we call it the light. The same we say La Abba Oso. You remember the beginning of Psoch?
Yeah.
La Abba Oso. We're just using a word when it's really actually means the opposite. Yeah.
Can I just clarify? So
yes.
on the 29th day, they don't know that the 30th day is Rosh Chodesh until Rosh Chodesh passes.
Correct. Absolutely right. Therefore, they will. That's crucial, actually, in the final piece of the Gemara we're going to learn, because that means that day you'd have to assume it might be Rosh Chodesh. It might not be. Okay, that's going to be very important when it comes to Rosh Hashanah. So Rosh Hashanah, you'd assume it would be Rosh Hashanah. You don't know. It might actually be the next day Rosh Hashanah. And well, this is interesting. In the times when Rosh Hashanah originally was it could have been just 1 day, but if you were further away from Yerushalayim, you wouldn't know yet when is Rosh Hashanah. The same with Rosh Chodesh. You wouldn't know. So as we're now, as I say, Wednesday night going into Thursday, if you were far away from the Beis Din, you wouldn't know yet, because they will only light, even if today is the first of the month, today meaning Wednesday night, Thursday is the first of the month, the bonfires will be lit on Thursday night, right? So you won't know. And if there's no bonfire on Thursday night, then you will know, Friday is Rosh Chodesh. You with me? So you don't know, unless you're, close to the Beis Din, you actually heard what's going on. But you're right. First thing in the morning on, let's say, tomorrow, imagine in this example we're talking about here, tonight would have been the first of the month, and people wouldn't have seen the moon tonight. They would only come to Beis Din tomorrow, on Thursday. And you have to wait for the Beis Din to actually announce, yes, today is Rosh Chodesh. Until that time, you don't know. With me? Or are you still confused? Yeah, you're okay. So you're right, absolutely right. You would not know until you get that bonfire whether that day was Rosh Chodesh or indeed, no, maybe it's a longer month, it's a 30-day month, in which case the following day is Rosh Chodesh. Yeah? Have to wait for the bonfire. But the bonfire, according to this brisa, was only lit if the previous month was a shorter month, a 29-day month. Otherwise, not. And that's exactly what this Gemara says at the bottom. So the Gemara says 2 lines up. Please ask if there's any further queries.
So
Okay.
just to be clear, that means when they actually light the bonfires, it's actually the second day.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. By the time you see the bonfire, it's already
actually day 2 of the month.
Yes. And if you wouldn't see the bonfire, you'd know, if there wouldn't be a bonfire that month, then you'd know it was the second day would be the first of the month. So you're quite right. It would suddenly convert. If you don't see a bomb. So back to our example, whichever example you like. Let's say that where we are right now, Wednesday night going into Thursday, if that's going to be day 30, which it really is, then the following night, which will be day 1, they will wait to see if there's a bonfire. If there's a bonfire, then Thursday night becomes day 2, as you said. If there's no bonfire, they know, no. Thursday night will have to be day 1. Correct?
Right.
Or still confused? Or it's not clear? Yeah? The bonfires are only lit after a shorter month, a 29-day month, and by the time you see the bonfire, as you say, Jonathan, it will by then be day 2. Yeah. If there's no bonfire, it means that the moon was not seen tonight, and they know the options are either 29 or 30, so it must have been a 30-day month. So that's very good. Okay.
So if they light the bonfire on the evening after the 30th, so then the people.
Sorry, what type of month is this? A 29-day month?
But well, they only do it on a 29-day month,
Correct.
don't they?
Correct.
For what you've just said. But
Yes.
They're waiting. So the bonfire goes out on the evening of
So in
Thursday. Thursday night will go out.
Thursday.
So they would have kept Thursday as a Sophic Rosh Chodesh, presumably.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then the next day, then that evening the bonfire goes out. So the Friday, they know that is the second day of the month. So they presumably would not celebrate that the Friday is a Rosh Chodesh anymore, would they?
Correct. They would have celebrated Thursday more like a Sophic in doubt.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't have known until the following day for sure what's going on.
But when we have the 2 days, we celebrate. What do? We say Rosh Chodesh.
Well, that's what they. In a month like this month, that's exactly what would have happened. They would have celebrated Thursday, thinking it might be Rosh Chodesh, it might not be. As it turns out, it's not the first. It's Rosh Chodesh, yeah, but it's not the first of the month. In other words, they would celebrate tomorrow, Thursday, thinking it might be day 1.
Yeah. And Friday they wouldn't celebrate. Friday they would not need to. And Friday they would not need to. But we celebrate. But nowadays, when we have a 2-day Rosh, we celebrate both as Rosh Chodesh, don't we?
That's what they would have done had the month been the 30-day month as it is this time.
Oh, they would have done it on the Friday as well.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't. In our example, actually.
Because Friday's the second day of the month, isn't it? Friday's the second day of the month, isn't it?
No, it's not this week. In Adar, this week, the first of Adar is on Friday.
I see, because otherwise they wouldn't have lit the bonfire. Okay, I'm sorry. Yes,
right. Thursday they don't know, so they're doubtful. So it might be Rosh Chodesh. No bonfire Thursday night, so Friday is Rosh Chodesh. It turns out Friday is the first, and the Thursday now becomes day 30 for sure. And they know on that first of the month when Rosh Chodesh is. You with me?
Yeah. So the fact you keep 2 days doesn't. Okay. So the 2
30
days.
30 days is what they would have done.
Yeah.
In the olden days, because they wouldn't have known. And if we reverted back to that, that's what we would have to do without telling anybody, without any communication. That's what you'd have to do. Yeah. Says the Gemara right at the end, 2 lines up. So they only did the bonfire for a choser month, a 29-day month. Amole, 2 lines up, Amole lo of Dinon. Says the Gemara, Ma Tama. What is the reason? Why can't you light a bonfire every time, whenever there's an announcement from Bezdin, light a bonfire immediately afterwards, the following night? Then you know for sure what's going on. Yeah, makes sense. Light a bonfire on every occasion after the Bezdin has announced today is Rosh Chodesh. Says the Gemara, you can't do that. Omar Rab Zera, Omar Rab Zera and Gezerah, different words, of course. A Gezerah, there's a ruling here. Mishum, let's imagine now that we'd be lighting bonfires every night after the announcement. Okay? What happens in the following scenario? Rosh Chodesh Choser shechal liyos be'erev Shabbos. Woo! Thursday night, imagine they're always lighting. Okay? Thursday night, someone sees the moon. It's again day Thursday. This is the example. Thursday is day 29. Okay, this is the example of the Gemara. With me? Thursday is day 29. Get there in the end? No, I say it's not that bad. It's a bit complicated. It must be a Adar, is it? Yeah. So Thursday night, or Thursday is day 29. The moon is seen on Thursday night. Okay? So they come to Bezdin on Friday and they say, we saw the moon last night, Thursday night. The Bezdin announces Friday is day 1. What would you expect? You'd expect there to be a bonfire on Friday night, but you can't. It's Friday night. So what happens now? Says the Gemara, look at the last line of the Gemara here. It falls on Erev Shabbos. So day 1 after 29-day month is on a Friday. Amos Abda. When are you going to light the bonfire? Well, there's only one occasion you can light the bonfire, and it'll have to be on Motzei Shabbos. You cannot light the bonfire on Friday night. You're not doiche Shabbos to light, you're not overriding Shabbos to light the bonfire. Yes, we do override Shabbos for the Eidim to come to the Bezdin, but that's all. So when are you going to light the bonfire? You'll have to light the bonfire on Motzei Shabbos. Oh dear. Look at the last line of Gemara. Amos of the, when are you going to, if you every single month, there's always a bonfire after the announcement. Now, Friday is day 1. You can't light the bonfire on Friday night. You'd have to therefore light it on Motzei Shabbos. Right. Imagine someone seeing the bonfire on Motzei Shabbos. What do they say? Have a look at the last line. Amos of the Ba'apuke Shabsa, when Shabbos goes out. Okay. Have a look at the last line of Rashi. Shechal liyos be'erev Shabbos. Remember, on Erev Shabbos, so on Friday, the Beis Din has announced it's Rosh Chodesh. V'lo nuchal lechal Shabbos. Can't break Shabbos to light a bonfire on Friday night. Lahasi masois. So when will you? V'nosi oisom l'motzei Shabbos. Every month has its bonfire. The only time you can light the bonfire will have to be on Motzei Shabbos. Okay. Now, De'i omrus navid nami amole. If you lit bonfires the night after every time Rosh Chodesh was announced, again, De'i omrus navid nami amole. As we turn the page, osu lemite, people will be confused. Why will people be confused? If they see the bonfire on Motzei Shabbos, there are two options here. Omre, they might say, Hi chosehu. It's really a choser month, which means Rosh Chodesh was on Friday. So why didn't you light the bonfires on Friday night? Mishum delo efsha. Impossible. Can't light the bonfires on a Friday night. So it was delayed a night. That's one option. So again, you see the bonfire on Motzei Shabbos. Either that means that Friday was Rosh Chodesh and the bonfire was delayed for a night. Second line, I'm still in the Gemara now, Chof Gimel Omid Aleph. Oidilma, or perhaps Molehu. Maybe it's a Mole month. What does that mean? Maybe Rosh Chodesh is not on a Friday at all. Rosh Chodesh is on Shabbos. Because Friday was day 30, the moon was not seen on Thursday night, it was seen on Friday night. Shabbos, they come to Beis Din. Shabbos, it's announced, bonfire Motzei Shabbos. Okay, Odilma Molehu, third line of the Gemara. Ubizmanoi Ovdu. And they lit the bonfire at the right time. Are you with me? If we lit a bonfire every single month, then what happens if, that's what the Gemara is saying, what happens if day 30, which is now not day 30, it's now Rosh Chodesh, is on a Friday, right? So Friday is Rosh Chodesh, and it's day, after a 29-day month, Friday is announced to be Rosh Chodesh. What will happen? When we light the bonfire, Motzei Shabbos. Maybe, however, Rosh Chodesh was on Shabbos. Maybe it was a 30-day month. When would you light the bonfire? Motzei Shabbos. So people will be confused. Have a look at Rashi. Also limited, there'll be confusion, there'll be a mistake. Hashta b'nei hagoyla omre. So what have you gained by only lighting for a choser month? If therefore now under our ruling that we just learned, according to this brisa, if they see a bonfire on Motzei Shabbos, what will they say? You only light bonfires on a choser month. It must be that therefore Rosh Chodesh was on a Friday and they didn't light until Motzei Shabbos because it was Friday night when the time to light the bonfire came. Is that okay? You're happy with that? There's no confusion anymore. We only light bonfires if it's a choser month. So when they see the fire on Motzei Shabbos, they'll say, it must have been a choser month, which means Rosh Chodesh was on Friday. Why didn't they light the bonfire either? Well, they couldn't because it was Shabbos. That's why it was delayed for an extra day. Now, no confusion.
So how would they have celebrated Shabbos? What would they have done? Would they, I mean, because they were in doubt still, weren't they? Because they didn't know whether the bonfire was going to be lit or not.
Correct.
So what would what would they have done on Saturday morning? Would they have said Yalla?
Yes, they would. They would have 2 days Rosh Chodesh. And it doesn't matter. They're doing it al sofek. They don't know. But it would all be clarified that night when they get the bonfire. They will then say, actually, Rosh Chodesh was on Friday.
And Sunday is the third day of the month then. Okay.
And actually, by the time they get the bonfire this time, Jonathan, it's even a day later.
Yeah.
Day 3. Yeah. Absolutely. So this way, there's no confusion. Says the Gemara, I've got a better solution. V'le'aved bein amole, bein achoser. No, let's have bonfires every month. But whenever Rosh Chodesh is on an Erev Shabbos, lo levet klal. Let's not light a bonfire. Let's have it very simple. That makes it even easier. You will have a bonfire the night after the announcement in Bezdin that it's Rosh Chodesh. Let's do that every month to ensure. Actually, it helps having it every single month. It's so we're originally, remember, we were a bit concerned about these by Susim and Kusim lighting fire. They can't do that anymore because they'll always be found out if they're lighting on the wrong night. If there are bonfires lit on 2 consecutive nights, there's been some fun and games taking place. So it's quite nice to have the bonfire lit every single month with one proviso. If Rosh Chodesh is on a Friday, then that month the bonfire will not be lit and everybody will know the Rosh Chodesh was on the Friday. That's brilliant. Let's go back to having fires lit on every month, but just not lit if Rosh Chodesh is on a Friday. And now there's no confusion. Because on Motzei Shabbos, if there's no bonfire, they will know Rosh Chodesh was on a Friday. If there's a bonfire, they will know Rosh Chodesh was on the Shabbos. That's good. Look at this answer. See if you like this answer, gentlemen. Kivan de lo of Dinan Motzei Shabbos. This is just the Gemara explaining the suggestion. As there is no delo of Dinan Motzei Shabbos, of Dinan Amole, but we would always light for a Mole month. Meida Yoda, people would know. This is still part of the question in the suggestion. The Chosehu, people will then know that the month is Choser. You with me? Why do we not have a rule? Did you always light the bonfire? But if it's Friday, which is Rosh Chodesh, then you don't light a bonfire. Very simple. So on Motzei Shabbos, you will always know what's going on. If Motzei Shabbos no bonfire, it means Friday was Rosh Chodesh. Otherwise, there would have been a bonfire. Says the Gemara, this is also not ideal. Why not? Very interesting answer. Afilu hochi, even so, osalamite. There's still confusion. If there's no bonfire lit on Motzei Shabbos, there's still confusion. What do you mean there's confusion? Why should there be confusion? If the bonfire is not lit, it must be that Friday was Rosh Chodesh. The Gemara says something else. Look at this. Omre, people will still be confused. It's true. There's no bonfire on Motzei Shabbos, which people might assume means that Friday was Rosh Chodesh. There is one further alternative. Omre, there's something else they might say. Maybe it is Mole. Maybe Shabbos was Rosh Chodesh. In other words, Friday was day 30. Shabbos was Rosh Chodesh. So why didn't you light the bonfire Motzei Shabbos? You know the reason why they didn't light Isnusehu de isnusi. There was an onus. There was a mishap. Rashi suggests something. Look at the first line of Rashi. De isnuse b'shikrusha mishte Shabbos. These people looking and seeing no on a Motzah Shabbos may think, you know why? They were probably having, Simon, you appreciate this, the Hasidic Shalshudis, and it went on a bit. And maybe that's why, a lot of drinking, and it went on a long time, and therefore that's why they didn't actually get. I mean, imagine people saying that. That's why the bonfire wasn't lit. It got too late, especially coming midsummer, very late, and therefore the bonfire wasn't lit. That's why. The Shalashudas went on a bit. There was a lot of drinking going on, went on far too late, and therefore they didn't get around to lighting the bomb. That's what people might say. There won't be clarity. That's the point. So what we're saying here is having the option of not lighting if Rosh Chodesh falls on a Friday doesn't help, because people might just say there was some mishap that happened here. If the bonfire is not lit on a Motzah Shabbos in that case, okay? So therefore people might say isnusei. Okay, so we don't do that anymore. What do? We light bonfires on occasions when the month is choser. And the easiest way to understand this will be, it's very straightforward. There will always be a bonfire lit if the month is choser. If the month is short, there will be a bonfire lit. If there's no bonfire lit, then the first thing people will say will be, it's a full month, and that's why no bonfire was lit. You with me? So therefore, under those circumstances, the first thing people will say, this is normal. This is absolutely normal. See, the previous occasion when a bonfire...
Cut out, Norman. You cut out.
Did I cut out? Hello, sorry about that.
Carry on. It's working. Please
cut out.
Okay. What we're saying, therefore, is we only light on months which are choser, and therefore people not seeing the bonfire will assume it fits into the normal category of being a full month. They won't suspect that maybe they forgot to light a bonfire, because the norm, they know, you see, it's only under that previous case that where you've got a concern. In this case, let's take the very simple interpretation of Sfasenes, and the Turi Elvin explains the following. A bonfire is always going to be lit, but only if the month's choser, which solves all problems. People will wait to see if a bonfire's lit. Nobody's going to suspect anything. That people will always know a bonfire will be lit for a short month. The bonfire will not be lit for a long month. Okay. People will know the following as well. It's much easier here, you see, because if it's a short month, and even if Bezdin forgot, for whatever reason, to light the bonfire, they can always light it the following night. With me? So the fact that there's a bonfire doesn't necessarily mean that the previous day was Rosh Chodesh, but it does mean the previous month was Choser. You with me? It's very simple. They will wait for the Bezdin to light the bonfire. If the bonfire's lit, they know the previous month is Choser. No bonfire, then it's Mole. Only one further question, the final question of the Gemara.
We're cutting out. You cut out again.
It's working for us, Mervyn. It may not be Norman.
I have been looking, and have you been here?
Wild. Sorry.
Out in the wilds, maybe. But I've noticed here no freezing at the moment. So it could be down in the wilds.
Well, we've had internet problems there. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting the gist.
Okay.
Perhaps you should light a bonfire to let me know the.
You could do if it's
what's
Rosh
going on.
Chodesh, which in fact it is, but it's
That's
not
fine.
Choser, so
Okay,
you can't.
all right.
Okay. One final question. The beginning of the line, well, the end of the line is V'le avid amole v'lo le avid achoser. So we've got a wonderful solution. The solution is we are only going to have bonfires for short months. If there's a bonfire, it's a short month. No bonfire, long month. Why that way round? Why not the other? Is there a reason and a logic? Yeah? You only want to have bonfires lit on one occasion. Either it's going to be the short month or the longer month. Why did we choose, why did the rabbis choose to have the bonfire lit when the previous month was short? You could do it the other way around. Only have a bonfire if it's a full month. Was it just a toss of a coin that they decided one against the other? There's never this tossing coins business. There's always logic behind the rulings. You with me? So we're up to the point where you light a bonfire if the previous month is Choser, and everybody will know. Why that way round? Says the Gemara. Le'avid amole v'lo. Beginning of the line is v'lo. V'lo le'avid achoser klal. Why don't you do the opposite? Light a bonfire when it's a mole month, and don't light a bonfire when it's a Choser month. Good question. Is there any logic behind that? Omer Abaya. Mishum bittul malacha. This is the point you made before. Mervyn, you're both talking about this. The point about you won't know. You want people to know as soon as possible. What does that mean? Bittul malacha la'am shnei yomim. Have a look at the Rashi here. Omer Abaya. 7 narrow lines down. Omer Abaya mishum bittul malacha. Below Gazina Gezerah, don't add the words Gezerah, we haven't got them. Okay, let's focus on Rosh Hashanah. In the old days, Rosh Hashanah could have been just one day. If they knew when Rosh Hashanah was, it was one day. Okay, now, let's see if we can work out this logic. If you'll tell me you only light a bonfire on a full month, V'lo achoser, not for a shortened month. Okay. Ein l'chor Rosh Hashanah in the olden days. I know nowadays we have two, but in the olden days where they could have just had one day Rosh Hashanah if they knew when it was. If you only lit for a mole month, you're waiting until the end of that day, and then you'd light the bonfire. Look at this. Ein l'chor Rosh Hashanah she'ein mispaklin b'nei hagoyla. That means those people outside Yerushalayim will always have to be bottled from avodah. They cannot go to work for 2 days. Why is that? Let's just think about this. Yom Shloshim, the 30th day of the month, might be day 30, which means the 30th of Elul, and might be the 1st of Tishri. They don't know. So Yom Shloshim, you'd have to observe as Rosh Hashanah because it might be the 1st of the month. Shemo, says Rashi, Hayom Rosh Hashanah. What about the day after that? The day after that, you'd also have to observe as Rosh Hashanah, Yom Shloshim be'echod. You'd have to have that day after Shema, Ibru, Esachodesh. Maybe they actually made Elul longer, that extra day. So you'd have to have 2 days Rosh Chodesh and V'hayom Rosh Hashanah. Stop. And when would you have clarification? You'd only have clarification after the day of the 31. Let's have an example here. Rosh Hashanah Day 30 is on a Monday. Okay? Day 30 of Elul is a Monday. Maybe day 30 is Rosh Hashanah. So you've got to observe Monday as Rosh Hashanah. Maybe Tuesday is Rosh Hashanah because that's the first of the month. When will you have clarification on, what was my example? Monday, Tuesday. Only Tuesday night you'll get clarification. On Tuesday night, you'll have a clarification both ways. If there's no bonfire, then you know the Monday was Rosh Hashanah and you kept Tuesday unnecessarily. If Tuesday is Rosh Hashanah, then Tuesday night you'll get the bonfire, you'll have clarification that in fact the first day, Monday, was kept unnecessarily. Are you all confused? No, hopefully. Again, Monday is day 30, but it might be day 1. It might be day 1, and therefore you'd have to have Monday as being kept as a Rosh Hashanah. Tuesday, you also won't know. Maybe Tuesday is the first of the month. Tuesday night, you'll have clarification. No bonfire tells us, under the suggestion we're making, no bonfire tells us that Monday was Rosh Hashanah. Therefore, Tuesday, you could have gone to work, but you didn't know. A bonfire would tell us Tuesday was Rosh Hashanah. Monday, you could have gone to work, but you have to wait till Tuesday night to get clarification either way. Continue Rashi. If you're lighting bonfires for shortened months, in my example, on a Monday was the 30th, but no, Monday ended up being Rosh Chodesh, Rosh Hashanah, right? What will happen? Monday night, you can have the bonfires already. Yom Shloshim, the night after the Yom Shloshim, Yodei, they'll know Shebiyom Shloshim Nikba, that on that day, Monday, it was made a Rosh Hashanah. V'yasu Melocha L'mocha, Tuesday, they can go to work. You with me? Because we're lighting bonfires only when it's Choser, on the occasions when Monday was Rosh Hashanah, they will already, that means, if Monday is Rosh Hashanah, it means it was a 29-day month, which means Monday is day 1. Monday night, because it's Choser, they can light the bonfire. Monday night, you'd know that the previous day was Rosh Hashanah. I can go to work now on Tuesday. Brilliant. It's true. If it actually is Mole, there won't be a bonfire on Monday night, and they'll know for sure Tuesday. It's true. In that occasion, they kept Monday unnecessarily, but they didn't know. You couldn't tell. But at least 50-50, there'll be those days that you'll find out on that night already that that day was Rosh Hashanah, and you can then go to work if you want to. If you're not going to work, you're not going to work. But I mean, at least you've got the option to go to work and do malacha. You won't be bottled for 2 days, those people who want to go to work. Only if it actually was a lengthened month where Adar actually went up to day 30 and Tuesday was the first of the month, it's true. Then you'll have 2 days which you no work, but at least you've got that option now. So it's a much better option to have lighting taking place after a Choser month, in which case you'd find out that much earlier. That is the view of Rashi. Says Tosfos, and Tosfos will finish. Notice the whole point, according to Rashi, was Rosh Hashanah. Says Tosfos, you don't have to only talk about Rosh Hashanah. Why don't you have a look at Rashi? Tosfos, please. Second Tosfos. Pirush bekuntras ein lecha Rosh Hashanah she'ein mispatlin b'nei hagola mimlocha beis yomim. If you were only lighting the bonfire after a full month, you'd have to wait till the potential bonfire to find out when is Rosh Hashanah. Bein Amole bein Achoser. Avki of the Achoser, if you're only making the bonfire when it's Choser, when it's a 29-day month, you'll know immediately, in my example, on that Monday night, there will be the bonfire to tell us that day was Rosh Hashanah. Okay? Says Tosfos, it was unnecessary. Lechinom dochak lefarish Rosh Hashanah. You don't have to say it's only Rosh Hashanah. Why not? Da'akol Rosh Chodesh koi. It could be talking about every Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh Adar, Rosh Chodesh Tammuz. Why? Ki lo hoyu regidim la'asos malacha b'Rosh Chodesh. There was a minhag. Many people did not do work on Rosh Chodesh. Kudomina mapera kurias hamegillah oimed. V'she'ein bo bitl malacha la'am kogon Rosh Chodesh. An example when people were not working, they weren't working as much, was on Rosh Chodesh. And Chol HaMoed, that's why there are 4 people, that's why there are 4 aliyahs on Rosh Chodesh. Now, that's one answer. And there's another answer, says Tosfos. And this is very beautiful. Regilin loima, it's well known, people say, in fact, this custom does go on today. You have to ask only if the ladies have this minhag from their own mothers, then this minhag does carry on. There are plenty of homes that have this minhag going down. Look at this rest of this Tosfos. Regina and Rashi mentions this as well in Megillah. Ladies got Rosh Chodesh as a treat. The men were asked to produce gold and silver. Actually, the ladies, you'd expect from the ladies would be the ones with the gold and silver. You'd expect all the jewelry. And the ladies refused. They wanted, in other words, the request from Aaron HaKohen was the jewelry, from the ladies' jewelry, got loads of gold, let's use it for the golden calf. The ladies refused. You can see from the psukim, it was the men who managed to find gold, any gold they got, but it did not come from the ladies. And therefore, in that schus, the ladies were given the Rosh Chodesh. In fact, originally, like the original Yom Tovim, there could have been a real Rosh Chodesh Yom Tov that was given from the men to the ladies in the schus that they did not supply any gold from their jewelry for the golden calf. And therefore they had that in. So now what are we saying here? Whichever way you look in Tosfos, it looks like Rosh Chodesh itself was a day of bittul malacha, no work. And therefore to prevent, in other words, those people who want to do work on those days, it's much better to have the announcement earlier. And therefore you would avoid having 2 days. Otherwise, every single month, you'd have to have 2 days Rosh Chodesh and 2 days of a lack of work. And therefore, those people who want to do some work and want to get back to work would be prevented. Maybe some ladies wanted to get back to work. But I'm saying that is a wonderful minhag that continued on. Whichever way you look, either you're talking about Rosh Hashanah, you're talking about Rosh Chodesh, talking about the ladies. The idea that we've only made an announcement when the Chodesh was 29 days means that you'll have that bonfire being lit earlier than having to wait that extra day, and it was only be lit after a full month to have clarification. And therefore, that's the reason why the bottom line is that the bonfires were lit on only almost like alternate months, only on the months where the previous month was 29 days. That's when they would have the bonfires lit. So with that, gentlemen, on Rosh Chodesh, I wish you all a good Rosh Chodesh. Those ladies have the minhag. There are people. There were people. We don't know. I'd say my wife, or shall I say my mother-in-law? It wasn't her minhag. not to work. She probably worked even harder on Rosh Chodesh than other times with all her good deeds that were going on. But there may be some people. Yes, there are families that do have that minute, that the ladies still don't do so much work. Perhaps they bring in the supper right, making the dinner on Rosh Chodesh. They'd have it brought in. I don't know. But if that is the minhag, it's actually brought in Shulchan Aruch, right? So you probably, the last thing you've heard was good luck to the ladies. Was that the last you heard? Yeah, we'll have to see if we can do something else about this. But meanwhile, I wish you all a very good Chodesh. Have a good week and a good Chodesh. And I say we're okay for next week. All being well.
Chodesh Tov.
Chodesh Tov to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Chodesh Tov.
Keep well. Chodesh Tov.